So many of you will click on this video and you'll go immediately to the comments. You go to the bathroom, you have to take your phone with you. You take a shower, you need music. Let me ask you, when was the last time you were bored? And I mean truly bored, without your computer, without your phone, without anything to distract you. Now, if you're like most people, you're probably gonna have to think back to a time before the internet existed. Maybe. And now you may think, or you may ask, like, why is that so bad? Why should I be bored? Why is it so bad that I'm always distracted? And I want to ask you, can't you see? Why so often you fall short on your potential? Why so often you do not put the best effort forward you could? Why time and time again you fail the creativity to actually solve the problems that stand in front of you? Because you and everyone, myself included, we have this digital pacifier within reach at all times whenever we feel uncomfortable, whenever there's some resistance, whenever we should just sit down and deal with the problem. Our initial reaction is to go and get the phone, go on YouTube, delay for 5 more minutes, then it'll be good, right? Enough of this. In today's video, we're gonna go over the problems with this quick, cheap dopamine, why it's so damaging, why it's so dangerous, and most importantly, what you can do to get rid of it, and with it get closer to your full potential, to putting your best effort forward, to actually sitting down and being disciplined and focused with what you have to do, in a lot of ways to allow you to progress like you've never done before. Let's get into it. Before I continue, guys, if you want some cool free wallpapers with Stoic quotes and just some beautiful images to your phone, link below, they're completely free. And now let's continue with the video. As many kids in my time, and a lot of kids nowadays, kids and teenagers, I was addicted to video games, most specifically League of Legends. I would spend all my free time, so after school or in vacations, just playing the game. Nothing else mattered. I didn't want to improve in anything other than getting better and playing this game. As a consequence, my social skills suffered, my mental health suffered, my physique and body suffered because I was just sitting on a chair the whole day doing nothing. Everything in my life became worse. And the saddest part is that deep down, I knew I shouldn't be doing that. And in the few moments that I had of mental clarity, in the morning before going to sleep, I knew that I should not be doing this, at least not for such a big amount of time. But the problem was that I couldn't see a way out. I couldn't escape all this noise. In a lot of ways, I took the bait and now I couldn't remove the hook. Now, luckily for me, when I was 16, I took this school trip that we do. It's around a week or 2 weeks, something like that. And this was to like a very remote Christian French village where you just spend the weeks there. There's no internet, there's no signal. You're just there doing some sort of volunteering work, and then you sleep there and they give you the meals, all these things. And really you're forced to just like entertain yourself for the whole day without the usual things that you have. You're far away from all of these things. And this was very good for me because it allowed me to step away from all these addictions, all these things that were plaguing me, and really have the tough conversations with myself that I needed to have. And I was so lucky to find this, especially at a young age, because the main problem is that if I were to do nothing, and if you are to do nothing, things can only get worse. And sure, you can find plenty of people online and groups and videos and stuff like that allowing this behavior and saying, no, you should allow yourself to rest and you should allow to do the things that you enjoy. After all, you do your work and then you can enjoy. I mean, if you relate to that, sure. But if you're here, if you're trying to improve, that is absolutely not what you should do, because the longer you delay, it's like the longer you're delaying on your full potential. And then to add to that, the older you get, the harder it becomes, because you develop and get deeper into the bad habits. You get where your shape becomes worse. You become less focused. You just have more baggage that you will have to remove before you can get to the improving. The critical point, and this is something that I don't see too many people talking about, is that it will always be painful to begin. Whether you're 18, 25, or 45, if you've been living a life of comfort and just doing what feels good and now you want to change, it's always going to feel, I might even say, horrible. You're stepping away from your comfort zone. You're doing all these things, battling all these demons that you've been avoiding for so long. Did you really expect it to feel good? Of course not. But in the future, it will feel better. It will feel infinitely better because it will actually give you meaning and fulfillment and purpose. But you have to begin. And most importantly, you have to truly want it. You cannot just be holding to this pleasure you have right now, nor even treading the kind of a middle line between all this. You can be like, yeah, I'll begin improving, but I'll still do a few of these things that are bad that I still do. I truly believe that for change to happen, especially if you're on a point that you're not happy with, you have to be fully committed. You can't be saying to yourself, yeah, let's say like me, you were addicted to video games. You can't just be saying to yourself, yeah, I'm gonna begin, going to the gym, eating healthy, doing these things, but I'll still play the video games. Now, in theory, you could, and maybe you're wondering, wouldn't that be healthier? Perhaps, but the reality is that it never happens. Because what ends up happening is, yeah, you're motivated in the beginning. Maybe you play video games, but now you start going to the gym, eating healthier. It's only a matter of time until motivation dips down a bit, you have a worse day, and then you just play video games the whole day. And then you get again into that horrible loop that you were in the past. And so I truly believe that in the beginning, I'm not saying that in the future you can't go ahead and play 1 or 2 games with your friends. I do now to this day. But I know that I'm in control. I know that that's not going to spiral me into where I was before. And that is only possible because I did the work. Because at a point, I quit all of it. And I truly committed to improving myself. The solution I have to offer to you to not only truly begin this progress, but also to commit fully to it is a bit extreme. And I'll give the disclaimer that it is not for everyone. It is going to be very uncomfortable, very painful, but it will work. It will get you committed to what you have to do, because it all boils down to awareness. Because if you became fully aware of all the bad things you're doing, where they will lead, how bad the road will be if you walk it, you'd have no other option but to change. The problem is that often we're not aware. Often, as soon as these conversations start happening in our minds, we shut them down. We go to YouTube, we go to Instagram, we go to TikTok, and we avoid but we avoid listening to what the problem truly is. For you to truly listen and truly commit and truly understand what is the good, what is on the other side of progress, of the difficult task, of the uncomfortable, how good, how fulfilling it is, but also to understand how bad it is on the other side, you have to step away. You have to disconnect from all of this bullshit, all of this that plagues you, to be able to have these conversations with yourself. And the sooner you have them, and the sooner you have all of them, the better you're going to progress, the more you're going to be committed, and the bigger change will happen. Now, what I suggest, and I know it may not be possible for you, but if you really want it, you can find a way. What I suggest is to take 1 to 2 weeks. If you're working, can take them as vacation. If you're studying, wait for your vacation. If you have a business, well, you just set the time aside for yourself. What I suggest is those 1 to 2 weeks, go somewhere remote where you don't know anyone, where there's no big distractions, no parties going on, no pretty girls, nothing. And then you don't take your phone with you. Or for safety, security, just take a flip phone. Set everything up to allow yourself for these 1 to 2 weeks to just essentially to just disconnect from everything. And what you'll find is that pretty soon, maybe you arrive, you set up everything, all these things, it's a bit still entertaining, your mind is busy, but soon enough you'll realize you just got nothing to do. You can walk around, sure, you can lay around, but you're not going to be able to escape your mind. Soon these thoughts will start to pop up. Fuck, I should have started doing that. Ooh, why haven't I gone to the gym? Why do I look so bad? Why do I feel so bad? Why am I not as rich as I wanted to be? And I suggest as well taking a journal. You can write about these things. What you'll realize soon enough is that pain will start to build up. The worse you are right now, the more intense this pain will feel. But that's not a bad thing, that you're feeling this pain, because that pain was already there. It was just hidden. And if you allowed it to continue further and further, what will happen is that this pain would increase. And then do you really want to be like 35 and have a midlife crisis, and now all this pain comes out? And now you realize you wasted, I'm not going to say some of the best years of your life, but definitely a lot of years of your life, when you have the most energy, when you're the youngest, when the world is yours to conquer. Do you really want that? Or would you rather deal with it now, avoid all the pain later? I mean, there's always going to be pain, but avoid the regret. That's really what you're trying to avoid here, is regret. Because if you begin today doing all that you can and really putting it all that you have into it, it won't matter how far you go. Because if you truly know that you gave it your all, you'll be happy with it. Or, maybe you won't be fully happy, but you'll have no regrets. You'll be fulfilled with what you put forth. And that's it. And I know it's very tempting, if you reach this point in the video, to just be like, okay, I'm motivated, that's going to be cool. And then you shut it off. And you say, yeah, maybe I'll plan that. In one day, I definitely should do that one day. But then you never do. Now, maybe you can't do it right away. It's not easy to step away for 1 to 2 weeks of our normal lives. But if you really want it, plan it now, today, after you finish this. Actually, close the video and go plan it now. That's it. And if that's still too far into the future, or for some reason this is not a possibility for you, then you just have to find time in your day to be alone with yourself. You got to find a way from your computer, from your phone, and you just got to be with yourself. What I suggest for that is very simply, you put your phone or leave your phone at home. You don't need to lock it anywhere, just leave the phone at home, and in the weekend or something, just take a trip to somewhere where you don't know anyone, where it's further away, but you can take a bus trip and come back the same day, or stay just for the weekend. And then do the same. It's like a lighter version, but it will still allow you to find a lot about yourself. And if you think, and maybe as you're watching, but I have an exam coming up, a project coming up, there's always something coming up. It's the older you get, the more things coming up there will be. Kids stuff coming up, wife stuff coming up, more responsibilities coming up. It's never going to get any easier. But what you'll realize is that when you do it, when you actually go and you step away, this is also when some of the biggest breakthroughs you're going to have. So in my life, they certainly were. It's when I realized what I really should be focusing on, what I should be attacking, what I should be solving, what I should be removing. So do not underestimate the power of just being with yourself, of stepping away from all the noise. And I read this the other day by Jack Butcher, I believe. He said it was something along the lines of, you got to find the signal in the middle of all the noise. And once you find the signal, you go all in on it. This is what I suggest you do. I went kind of a bit on a rant here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, a like and a subscribe really goes a long way. And I'll see you on the next one.